Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I am joined by the one and only Akiko from Japanime Games. You guys may have heard of him, but Akiko, thank you for joining me and giving me your time of day. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you for having me.
I just want to say I am a fan of your company. I have seen you at multiple conventions. I have seen your product, and your product is very good. But we're not here to talk about the product just yet. We're here to talk about you, because the world needs to know about you. I find you very interesting. I find you funny. I find you always seem to cheer up the room when you start streaming. You bring a very good thing to the table. But tell the world about yourself. Introduce yourself to everyone.
Well, I'm Akiko Otaku. I'm the mascot for Japanime Games. I love ramen, and I recently, well, not recently, it's been a year now, opened Maid Cafe board game shop, which is where I stream at, and everybody could stop in and check me out. And if I don't get distracted, hopefully we don't spend hours and hours talking about food because I'm a massive foodie.
There's nothing wrong with being a massive foodie. Trust me. As someone who likes to talk food, there is nothing wrong about being a massive foodie.
Oh, then we're gonna get stuck here talking for hours on with about food.
Hey, that's okay though. I do got a question. What is your preferred dish? If you can go to a restaurant and be like, all right, this is I know I want this and I can have this anytime. What is that?
It would have to be garlic tonkatsu.
Oh, that's a very interesting choice.
There's some places it's just garlic tonkatsu. Some places it's black garlic tonkatsu. I like it.
Oh man, that's just so good. All right, so I want to start this because you opened a board game cafe. What are some of your favorite board games? If you can kind of narrow it to five, what are those five going to be? Like you would go up to someone who's never played a board game before and be like, "I have this and I want you to play this."
Well, my very first entry gateway it's like my first game that I've ever owned, so it has to be on my favorite is Heart of Crown, from Japanime Games.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I like Munchkin, which is kind of like a standard. I think everybody has played that at least once in their life, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I like Raise Your Goblets. I've been trying to search for a copy of my own because it was loaned to me, but it's not in Britain anymore, and I'm so sad because it's like I had a friend that lent it to me for like 5 years and then decided they wanted it back,
Mm-hmm.
and then now I don't have a copy and I can't buy it because they don't print it anymore.
It's when you go, hey, look, I'm going to borrow this indefinitely until I have my own.
Well, I told my friend that I really wanted a copy, but I couldn't get one, and they're like, "Oh, well, I don't really use mine. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Why did you take it from me?"
They just didn't want you to lose it. That's all it was. They wanted to keep it nice and safe.
I'm so sad. And then I had top five, but I have six
No, that's fine.
because Heart of Ground is Japanime, so I figure I should give something else as well. So I like Boop. Boop was really cute, and it's very simple, but also big brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. Side Effects I also like. Do you know about Side Effects?
No, I don't.
It's a game where basically you have illnesses and you're trying to treat them, but when you have medication, they have side effects, and other players can enact those side effects on you, so you have to then treat those side effects. And it's like a never-ending loop of like trying to fix yourself, while others are trying to mess you up.
Oh, Lord.
And then I also like there's this game called The Shivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to explain it other than it's like a board game role playing. It's really really cool because it has it's like a pop-up book. It has like scenes and pop-up book. Uh and you have like a is it a DM? The game master?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who narrates everything, and you actually can interact with the pop-up scenery.
That's really cool, actually. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm a newbie. Well, I won't even say a newbie. I'm kind of a normie when it comes to it. Like, my favorite games is like Red Dragon Inn. That one's fun.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Um, Ascension, which is like a deck building game,
Mm-hmm.
and then Pandemic. I really like that. And then,
Oh.
I think if I wanted like a bigger, longer board game, because every time I played Pandemic, once it gets to a certain point, everyone just dies. Like we always lose. Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I've been playing the game for like 5 years. I have yet to actually win the game. Elderic Horror, is one of the, if I really want like a long like 2 or 3 hour game session, that's definitely
Mm-hmm.
one I would sit down and play.
What is your tactic for Pandemic? What is your tactic and how effective is it? And
Well,
probably don't do it because you still lose.
well, it's effective to a point because it's the luck of the draw, because usually I get the clear, like I've cured basically a bunch of cities every time. It seems like once we cure at least like 5 or 6 cities, the cards are like, no, it's done. And it's like, all right, spread this amount, then spread this amount, then spread this amount. And it's just like, and there goes the whole board. Like, we usually get a pretty decent chunk done and we save a couple cities, but like, it never fully gets saved.
Oh no. Oh
It's a wild time, but I really enjoy it. So, speaking of the cafe, and I know have you streamed board games on the cafe?
Not so much like physical play games. I've tried Wingspan and then our Tonto game, the digital version.
Yeah.
And then I've done unboxing and I've done just streams and streams of me sleeving because I'm kind of ludicrous when it comes to taking care of my board games and things like that. Um, I tend to oversleeve them because I want them to be in good condition.
No. I get that. I get that. Trust me. I get that, because that's what a lot of the pieces, especially like cardboard pieces and stuff, tend to break very easy or get bent very easy, and then let alone
Mm.
cards. And yeah, no, I get that 100%.
I have the max ludicrousy of my slaving is my Heart of Crown. Uh, I have some that are like triple sleeved,
Hmm.
and like the last sleeving is like those thick, big, like plastic, probably meant for postcard sleeves on. I think they're for like the dividers, so they don't even dividers shouldn't be that important, but it made sense to me. I'm just like they're doing a better job dividing now that they're like crisp and plasticified and things like that.
Now they're good and safe and protected. They do their job a little bit better.
You have no idea. I've had some friends that I have to designate to only party-esque games and not like my expensive board games when they come over because like the every time I give them a game, they always find a way to break it. There was one time I had them over and I gave them a brand new box. Like I had just bought it, received it in like just the other day. It was a tiny little deck of cards called Awkward Turtles. And I'm like, here, can you open this while I fix up some snacks and things like that? I look away for 2 seconds and they've like ripped the box open diagonally across so that there's no box anymore. And I'm like, what did you do? And they're like, I got too excited. I'm like, my box.
You don't need, I get getting excited, but you don't need to destroy everything. Oh
So
Lord.
they're only designated to party games that are easy to find and not games that are like super expensive.
All right, we have Parcheesi here, man. Here you go.
Mm.
You can open this one.
Yeah.
So, well, it sounds like you have a lot of like good memories with board games. Do you remember what are like some of the earliest ones? How do you like remember how you came across board games? Like, do you
My
remember like what your first memories with them are?
like so my very very first earliest memories of anything board game related esque would actually be solitaire
Mm-hmm.
or chess. So like I as you know, like I live with my grandma when I was younger, and she always would be in her room playing solitaire every single day. And when I was like a wee little child, I would always like watch and just kind of be amused and try to learn. I didn't understand solitaire. I didn't under like I learned through watching,
Mhm.
but it was always very interesting how it would kind of keep my grandma captivated for hours. And then the other one being chess was that I would always play chess with my grandma and try to beat her because she was always so good. Mind you, I'm like a tiny little child of like 5 or something. And I would never beat her. I would never beat her. Those were my like first basic exposures. Mm, and then I think my other exposure much later in life was I went to a convention and I saw the Heart of Crown box, but it was before the translations were done. So
Mhm.
I just saw the box and I was really captivated by the art and I knew that I had to have it. And but I didn't know anything about it at the time. So I just took a picture to remember. And then later uh Japanime Games did the translation and I'm just like, my new collection is now about to begin.
I have found a new fixation and I
I
will
have
cling on
found
to
my
it.
station. Yes.
So is that how you kind of discovered Japanime? I take it then you just found them at a game convention or anime convention or something like that.
So well, that's how I became aware of Japanime games and became like a massive fan of them.
Mhm.
But I actually met Eric personally at a licensing expo. Um,
Oh.
because I was there for a previous cafe that I worked at the time before setting up my own shop.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, so I was there. I was already in love with his games, and I wanted to be part of the team. And so I sent applications like once every year, uh, over and over and over. And it was so funny because like we kind of knew each other since we had already met personally, and then we had some mutual friends and things like that. But the timing just was never right. The timing was never right. He wanted me to join, but it was just timing.
Mhm.
And it was funny because it got to the point where I'm just like, I'd send him the email and be like, "Hello, Eric. It's time for the annual application." And he's just like, "Oh, so it is. So
No,
it
it's
is.
that time of year. All right.
That time of year again."
Oh, that's funny. I like that. See, I love hearing stories like that because everyone. The reason why I interview people is because everyone comes from a different walk of life. Like
Mm.
if you were to tell me, if you would have never told me, I would have never guessed that. Because that's just hilarious to me. Especially since you're like, well, time to mark the calendars. All right, it's that time of year again. Uh, so what I wanted to segue into was, since you saw them at a convention, was it like an anime convention or was it uh like a
Um,
like a Comic
I
Con or was it
I think it was a very so where I saw Eric or where I saw the
the
game?
game? The game.
So the where I saw the Japanese Heart of Crown was actually at a tabletop convention. It was a very, very small one. They weren't there. So Japanime Games was not at this convention, but
Hmm.
there was a booth that was holding the Japanese version of Heart of Crown. And I was there because at the time I worked for a different cafe,
Hmm.
and that's why I was there. And it was the same reason for uh, the other convention. It was actually the licensing expo um, that I met Eric at.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Mm.
So, well, okay. So, do you like anime? I think that might be a little bit of a biased question, but it's one of those establishing questions I always like to ask.
Yes, I grew up a lot on anime. You know, um, it was one of those things where it's it was on the TV
Hmm.
before school and then on the TV coming home from school. So it was always just like I think that was the only time where I actually had a schedule. I'm a binge watcher of anime.
Yeah, of
So
course, of course.
if yeah, so I actually don't watch a lot of mainstream animes because if it shows on TV, I'm just like, no, no, no. I'm not watching one episode and waiting a whole week to watch another one, sort of thing. Like, give me the whole series so that I could watch it in one sitting and feel garbage about my life because I've stayed up to 4 o'clock in the morning watching the entire thing. Um, but when I was younger, and TV was the thing, I would watch it in the morning. So I think, and then also I had older cousins that were all about anime, so they all introduced me to anime. My very first anime that they introduced me, which they probably shouldn't have at my age, at
Oh,
the age that
oh
I
no.
was Ranma One Half.
Okay, I was so
It's not bad. It's not that bad, but
no, when people usually go, they shouldn't have introduced me. Usually it's followed up by like Ava or something like very
oh,
traumatizing, and I was like, oh no, please not another one.
oh no, no. I'm not allowed to watch. I actually to this day have not watched any Evangelion. Um, just because my grandma was just like, never watch that. It's too graphic for you. And so I just still haven't. Even to this day, I still haven't watched Ava.
I will say, no matter what time, how old you are, or anything, you will get hit with that depression. So it
Oh no.
doesn't matter. But I do recommend if you want at least I personally like the movies over the original. But I do
Mm.
say at least give it a shot. I will say that.
Mm.
But yes, anyway, Ramda, the more happier version.
Yeah. My goal is to be able to watch all of it because I still haven't. But there's like so many episodes, and then like I used to go to my cousins and like watch like whatever movie or whatever episode and try to binge it as fast as I could before I left.
Mhm.
But I never finished it. So now I need to buy. Well, I guess I don't need to buy it now that streaming's a thing. But I want to have like the whole Ranma collection.
Oh, of course, of course. I don't know. Do they? I I don't know how expensive the physical print is. I don't think it's
Uh,
that expensive from my experience.
I don't remember how much there is, but I think there's like over 9 series ish plus the movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it might be a little expensive due to the quantity. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, but I think I don't remember if they started slowly converting them to Blu-ray, but I know before it was only DVD.
Mhm.
Mm.
Oh man. Do you have any anime you would recommend? Like, if you had a top five, you'd be like, all right, you're getting into anime. I recommend these.
Well, as somebody that dimension hops, I love a lot of isekai. I know that the fountain of isekai is never ending and
It's
constantly
plentiful.
flowing. It is plentiful. It runneth over. Um, but the ones that I guess I'll pick the ones from my childhood that I kind of remember. I like Magic Knight's Rayearth.
Very good choice.
Very, very early classic. The isekais that warn about power trips, I guess, right? Uh, then we have the first Digimon. Uh, Escaflowne is another one.
Escaflowne?
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me about that one because I think I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen it.
So it's about this girl that kind of gets isekai'd to this I don't know, I guess it would consider it like fantasy world,
Hmm.
and she's kind of like uh she's she's kind of like a fortune teller in a sense. She does a lot of like the tarot cards and things like that, and she can kind of pseudo predict the future. And the main character, uh, it's like this fantasy mecha, pilots this fantasy mecha, and kind of uses her like an emotional support or something. Like he fights motivated by her in some way, shape, or form. But he's kind of big emo child, if I remember correctly. It's been a hot minute.
No. For some reason, I got the Eureka 7 or Eureka 7 vibe from that when you're like, she's the emotional support.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Uh, oh, and two more is Inuyasha and No Game No Life.
Inuyasha, great choice. No Game, No Life. Definitely a way swing to the left, but a good choice from everything else.
That one's definitely a power trip, but you can't deny the bright and colorful, like vibrant colors.
I remember when it came out, and I
Mm.
was captivated because of how
Mm.
beautiful it is. And honestly,
Mhm.
I went back with a Discord. We were doing watch nights not too long ago, and that was one that we spun the wheel, and that's what won. It's still very beautiful. They did very good with it. It just sucks. It's never going to get a season 2. It's stuck in that hellhole that is known as this was just a promotion. Go buy the light novels.
Did you watch the movie?
Yes. No Game, No
Yeah.
Life 0? Oh, yeah. Very good. I wouldn't put it above the show, but it's still very good.
It was still nice to get something new.
Oh yeah,
After
oh
a
yeah.
while. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna knock. If they're gonna give us something new, I'm not gonna knock it. Don't get me
Like
wrong.
we're hungry, feed us more.
Yes,
Anything.
give. So, with working at Japanime, I do have a question. Have you actually been sent to Japan? Or have you gone to Japan, period?
Canonically, I have to say that I was born in Osaka, but due to all of the dimensional hopping for so long, I've forgotten so much of my time there, and I would love to return there someday.
Is there a certain place you want to go to?
Everywhere. There's too many places. I want to go to the Fox Shrine. I want to go eat octopus balls again. Like all of the food stalls in Osaka. There
Mhm.
you can't take like 2 steps without hitting another food stall in Osaka. There's a lot of different shrines and temples in Japan in general that I want to go to.
Mhm.
I want to be nagged by deer for food. I want to visit the rabbit island and the cat island. And did you know that there's like an owl cafe?
What
There's also
in
in
Osaka?
Japan, not in Osaka. I'm talking all
Just in
over the
general.
place,
Just
all over. Yeah, there's an owl cafe. Did you know there's a piglet cafe? There's even a raccoon cafe.
I
Like
kind of want to go to the Piglet Cafe. I'm not gonna
the
lie.
piglet, really?
Yeah, I really want to go to the Piglet Cafe.
I want to go to all of the animal cafes. Did you know that there's a restaurant that they have like giant pool tubs and you catch your own fish that they prepare for you?
Oh, you're talking about with like the nets?
Yeah, like with you have like fishing net, and you just kind of catch it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think they also have rod as well.
Yeah, I think they have both. Obviously, the
Mm.
easiest way to do it is because there's a third option where they go, yeah, we can just like pick one out for you. But
No, I want the full
yeah,
experience.
that's if you don't want the full experience.
Mm.
There are so many little cafes that I have seen through different VTubers and people I know over there that I
Mm.
really want to go to. And
Mhm.
the plan was to go a couple years ago, but the great vid, as some call it, kind of
Mm.
ruined the plans.
Mm.
But yeah, there's a couple different places I want to go to. I want to, as a historian for me, I obviously want to go to Hiroshima. I want to go to,
Mm.
all Nagasaki. I want to go to those big places. But honestly, there's only one real place I want to go to. It's a temple.
Oh.
Love Live is one of the best or one of the biggest animes that I really love, and the main shrine they use in the show is located in the heart of Tokyo, and the shrine goes all out with special merch and everything, so I kind of just want to
Oh.
go and experience it. Uh, so what I want to ask, how I'm gonna tell people how I came across you. You have a guy named Koji. That's how we call him. He is a Weiss player. That's how I met him, because I do Weiss. I do competitive Weiss Schwartz. And
Mhm.
he's part of our Discord server for another YouTube channel where we talk about Weiss Schwartz a lot. And he said you were opening Hololive.
Yeah.
And that's how I found you. So, do you play any TCGs, or that was to introduce you to TCGs, because of a project that you guys are working?
Kind of, a little bit. I'm nowhere near as a veteran as probably anybody else. So I would say that I'm still very, very much entry level. I'm always eager to learn anything.
Hmm.
Um, my first experience with TCGs was actually with the previous cafe that I worked at. Um, my group of friends and everything, we were working on a small, tiny little TCG, and we had fun with that at the cafe. We had fun with that. It was very small, uh, competitive amongst the circle of friends,
Hmm.
and that was kind of my gateway drug to to TCGs. It was kind of my gateway drug to TCGs because it was very watered down,
Hmm.
very very simple, easy to learn. Um, but then I think after a while, I eventually decided to give Magic a try
Hmm.
because they had, I think around the time they just released the Eldraine booster, and I am a sucker for like fairy tale-esque themes and things like that. So I'm just like, okay, this is it. This is the if this is it. This is my time to get into Magic. And as soon as I learned how to play Magic and build my own deck, the pandemic happened, and so then I just had a deck.
And I just had a deck sitting there.
And I just had a deck sitting there. Um but I think during my time of playing the other TCG, I also loved learning about the other ones. I never got to play other ones. So like I watched a lot of people play the Final Fantasy
Hmm.
TCG, and I watched a little bit of the Dragon Ball one. But other than that, I haven't gotten my hands too dirty with a lot of TCGs.
So, I don't know if you know this with Weiss, but well, first, I my main deck now. It used to be Love Live. It used to be a Love Live main, but now mine is reincarnated as a slime because I do like me some music guys from time to time, and I keep up with that. But they have a no game no life set,
Mm.
so I feel like that might be up your alley. They should be very cheap because it's not
Ooh.
very well. It's not played a lot because it's kind of, I wouldn't say out of rotation because there's no rotation, but as you know, time goes on, cards change, and you know mechanics get better, and so on and so forth. Sets get rotated out, and No Game No Life was one of those sets. So, if you really wanted to play some No Game No Life, it should be very cheap to pick up.
What is the game mechanic for No Game No Life? Because I think every set has a specialty, right? A
Yeah,
special mechanic that they do.
they tend to do something gimmicky with each set. I
Mm.
know one of the big things that stood out for me was in the trial deck, you could basically play a game of chance. So you would get
Ooh.
like 3 cards, and it would be like a 0, 1, 2, or 3, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly. And your opponent would choose this card, and you can either play it on the field or do something with it. But these cards would be face down and like shuffled.
I like to gamble.
Yeah, there's a lot of gambling. Like, there's like stuff like that. And then, for example, like with ReZero, one of the big mechanics they based off the show is a Subaru card where you pay the cost and you reset the field completely. So you'd be like on level 3, like 6 damage would be like the best example for this. You play the Subaru card, you pay the cost. Everyone's field gets wiped. You get set back to 3-0, and he's the only card on the field.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's like all different types of gimmicks. Every set has their own little gimmick. So I think, and that, like I said, that's what turned me like onto that. That's how I found you.
Mm.
And so, what are you going to still like try to pursue Weiss? I have to ask as a player, as a connoisseur, as some might call. Are you gonna? Did you want to still continue playing Weiss, or was it just hey, what can I pull? Can I pull some of my favorite VTubers here? Or...
I had somebody try to teach me a little bit of Weiss. When I first got like the first set for the Hololive.
Hmm.
Um, I'm still a little bit confused. I think I would need more Obi-Wan training before I get a better grasp of it. But I'd probably stick with the Hololive set
Hmm.
just because I'm familiar with them a lot. And I've already started. I've already got my knees deep in Hololive cards. I better use them.
So Hololive right now is one of the bigger sets. It's one of the meta sets. So you chose a
Mm,
good set to get into.
mm,
Uh, there is also a simulator you can download that's free, and you can play against bots on that simulator, and it'll teach you how to play. You can make your own deck, and they're always updating it so that you can get some of the Japanese sets in there now. They have most of the English sets already in there. So like with the
mm.
older sets, what I got in, Persona 4 was out. That was one of the big
Ah,
sets for North America when I was starting. The Persona 5 sets on there, and I believe you can even get the Persona 3 set, I believe they put on there. And then like a bunch of the Japan exclusive ones, and then, all the English ones. Which I can send that to you later if you want.
hmm. Do you have to buy them, or do
No,
they just like give you free access to all of
it's
these
the
cards?
simulator is completely free. A guy donates his time to like help get it out there. And if you have friends
Oh.
with Steam accounts and the simulator, you can play against each other. So you don't have to
Training.
play just against bots, you can play against people.
Training arc initiated.
Yes, trading arcs. Speaking of trading arcs, I wanted to ask about streams before I ask you about something big that I really, really enjoy.
Hmm.
Do you have any favorite moments? Have you like had any like surprise moments so far streaming? Like, is there any like moment off the top of your head that's like, if I could walk away right now, this would be my favorite moment?
My most notorious moment so far is I did the do you know of the ramen hack?
I do not. I think Kochi mentioned it, but I don't. I don't.
So I saw there was a point in time where I saw a lot of these ramen hacks on like YouTube, TikTok, these shirts or whatever, and it's basically kind of a way to make instant pack ramens taste more like restaurant grade ish.
Mhm.
And so on stream I tried that. I was curious. I wanted to know. I gave it a try. And as you know, I like garlic. I like garlic, but I didn't didn't think about the repercussions of putting 7 cloves of garlic into a tiny bowl of instant ramen.
Oh,
I
okay.
was I was crying. It was super spicy. Every spoonful was just garlic filled. I had to end up like sieving the ramen to try to separate the garlic, and like at the end of it there's like this massive pile. There was just like a huge, it was like half of the bowl was just garlic bits. Um I was I, you know I was under the assumption of like, cause I use a lot of garlic when I make garlic rice, right? When you
Mhm.
cook garlic rice, I use like a whole bulb or something like that to make garlic rice. But everybody was just telling me, they're like, well, I mean, rice is more padding. Like they take the brunt of the flavor. This is literally like a tiny single serving bowl of rice. Yeah, that was yeah.
So you basically regretted your choices that day. Fantastic. That's what I like to hear
Mm.
when it comes to the streaming. Uh so there's a project that you were pushing recently and announced and had people participate in and submit some forms. A VTuber card game you guys are trying to make. Uh,
Yes.
I please talk about it, please, because I know you've done streams talking about it, answering people's questions. But for
Mhm.
people who haven't heard about it, I would like them to hear about it because it's a project I submitted, and the VTuber I manage they've submitted, and I'm personally invested in this project because I like it.
Mhm. So it's called Oshi Plush, and it's the VTuber trading card game. The name itself actually went through a lot of iterations. I like where it ended up because I think it's cute. It's kind of like it's push push
Hmm.
push push. Before then, a previous iteration was like Oshi Sekai.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was supposed to be like idol from another world. Like
Ah.
your Oshis are like, they're from the digital world, or you could say like Oshi from another world. Like we put them in the trading card game,
Mm-hmm.
so they've been put into a different world as well. Um, but after further development, we landed on Oshi Push, and essentially, uh, the best way to describe it is kind of like your 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 the yeah, sorry.
You're fine.
You're like a big supporter for your Oshi,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like helping them, like their campaign manager in a sense, and just kind of like helping them with their content and things like that, to try to get them to the 1 million followers to be the Kami Oshi. Mm.
Okay. Now I do have I should have thought to ask it. How did it come about? Who was like, slam their hand on the table? I have an idea. Like did it happen like that, or was it something that was inspired by like other card games you saw?
Well, it was kind of uh a mutual and separate ideas between Eric and I.
Mm-hmm.
Because I came in and I'm just like, Eric, I'm surprised that you're not doing anything with Vtubers. Why? It's perfect. Why don't you have Vtubers in your lineup? And I had, suggested the trading card game because I thought it would be perfect because there's so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric had been thinking for a really, really long time about like a trading card game for artists at the artist alley, like when you go to conventions and there's so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to kind of showcase each of the artists' artworks and things like that, and have that be a trading card game. But it was something that like he's never really got around to doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I told him all about these VTubers, how amazing they are, and just the communities that they have, and just everything about that. And he's just like, okay, well, you'll be our expert. Make it so.
All right, you came up with the idea. You do it.
Yeah.
You what?
What?
So I saw that there was stuff announced. Let me
Mm.
pull this up here. The new tab. I saw you guys announced the first line. Did you want to talk about the first few people that were announced?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so the first set, we have Face Connect. We've been talking a lot, and um, they're really interesting people. I've I've known a lot of the Face Connect members even before doing these negotiations and talks with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge fan of Tenma. I'm a huge oh, I'm a huge fan of Tenma, but I know a lot of people like Peppa as well. She's quite notorious.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it just kind of it made sense in a way to kind of get the wide variety. And it was just nice also starting off with a group, uh because uh also doing a lot of individuals can get really complicated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll still be doing individuals, but this is kind of like a nice, uh, how do you say?
Base layer, like a
Yeah.
starting point.
Yeah.
So with this game, is there any? I won't say well. Is there any goals in mind that we'd like to aim for? Is there like this is like the tippy top goal? Like, is there? You're like, we want to aim for like X amount of sets, or anything you can divulge. Obviously, I don't want to pry in here and be like, I need these hard hitting questions. No. I just whatever you can tell us. Is there like any end goal besides the getting the game out?
Well, obviously the big the big goal is getting the game out. But like personally, what I'd like to see is people playing the game
Hmm.
and getting really excited about their pulls, and also being introduced to new VTubers, finding new Oshis and things like that. Um, that's kind of what I want to do. So like, I don't know if you went to Offkai. Did you go to Offkai?
No, I did not.
So this year at Offkai, they did a thing where they had collectible cards of all of their VTuber guests that attended,
Ooh.
and so that was something that I was really really interested in because obviously it's similar to what we're working on and doing.
Hmm.
It was also really amazing that their cards that they had at the event was all made and done by like a single guy. They had a sorry,
No, you're
they had
fine.
a single guy doing it and wrapping it and everything. Um, but it was really cool to see all of the different VTubers, and there was a lot of VTubers that I didn't even know about. So it's like it introduced me to some new VTubers,
Hmm.
and if I'm able to do that, even with like a small selection here or there, that's something that I'd like, you know, spread and grow more communities.
Of course. See, and I like that idea. I like that sense of helping and growing, and especially because some people they just get lost in the sea of streamers and content creators, and it's from a small person. That trust me, I understand that it's a big push and a big help, especially when you get out there and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So all I know is I'm definitely going to be getting it, and a couple of my friends have already showed interest and thrown their hat in the ring too. So we're definitely excited to see where things go. We're very excited to see what happens with it. I just want to kind of round this out because I think we touched on everything here that feel like people got a good understanding of who you are, how the game is, what to look forward to. Are there any goals you got for 2024? You as a streamer, you as a content creator, is there anything you want to do? Like you got anything that you want to like give hints at?
As a streamer, as a I mean, a lot of it is this considered a podcast or talk show?
I mean, yeah,
Is this
this is like an interview podcast kind of thing. Usually this is you're one of the first people I've done like face have the face on.
Oh yeah. Woohoo. I had so at my debut I did have a fair bit of goals. Um Obviously one is to make a lot of friends. I'm super duper shy. I stressed myself for like a whole month trying to message other people, and then I just get super stressed because it feels so forced. It feels so forced. I know everybody's just like, oh, just talk and DM people, but it feels so forced. I don't know what to do with myself. um I would love to be able to personally attend conventions.
Hmm.
Because right now, anytime that I get sent to conventions, I'm just kind of like incognito, hidden away, uh, kind of being espionage and spying on things, and nobody can
Yeah,
perceive.
work
Um,
stuff, work stuff.
yeah, but it's it's something that I'll have to try to figure out with Eric to try to get me to be like physically there.
Hmm.
But uh it might be a little bit complicated to explain. It's not that complicated, but it's also complicated. Um one of my goals was to be invited to podcast and talk show. Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
The other one was to design a game, which I'm helping a lot with Oshi Push, so that'll be another goal ticked off there. Um, I think it would be really nice if Eric goes on like these annual trips to Japan. It'd be nice if he took me one of these.
See, what you do is you clip this and just slide
Mm.
it. Just be like, hey, I found this out there. I think you should really watch or like look at this clip, and just leave it just to send a link. Don't leave anything else, and just be like,
Well, I should explain to him. It should be beneficial that I go back home, Eric,
mm-hmm.
because then I could do some cool stuff. I've actually been studying up on some IRL streaming. I could be like your personal camera person, and you could show everybody around town and things like that.
Yeah, we had you just it's there, and you got to seat the roots. You know what I'm saying? We gotta put the roots in. I can establish stuff, so I know where I'm
Mhm.
from. I can just put my roots in, and we can establish that ground. You know what I'm saying?
This is where Eric discovers that he wants to be a vlogger.
Yes. He has a new arc.
Hmm.
um. Last thing is, besides the card game, is there anything you want to like kind of hype up or segue into 2024 as a like, hey, keep an eye out for this?
There's a lot of things being worked on that's kind of like we've had a lot of delays for one reason or another. And I think 2024 will be the year where a lot of the floodgates will open for a lot of the projects that have been held up a lot.
Hmm.
So there's definitely a lot to look forward to. I know we had Fruits Basket that was in a bit of a delay. It's waiting for a second set of approvals. There's another game that they were working on. Hold on. It's a name that they had mentioned in a couple of meetings. I know we have the Japanime Tactics
Hmm.
should be coming out soon. As well as like a lot of the other ones that were kind of stuck in the production pipeline. There's also Lupin. We have a Lupin game that is being made and worked on. Uh, so there's a lot. There's a lot that is the floodgates can only hold us for so long before they burst through.
Before we burst the dam and go right on through.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, I appreciate you giving me your time. Thank you. I know it's a little early for you, but I appreciate you dedicating some time to come talk with me. Uh, Plug your socials. Do what you want to do. Where do you want people to find you at?
Uh uh but oh god, you've hit me with the hardest question of all. What do I know? You can find me on my cafe, which is uh should know my own channel, Akiko Otaku _VT, uh on Twitch. That is probably the best place to catch me. I stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, uh 8 a.m. PST or 11 a.m. EST. I can also be sometimes found in the Discord, just kind of lurking in my own Discord, in the Japanime Discord. I lurk within the Japanime Discord.
You'll find her lurking in the corners eating some garlic totokatsu, but it's okay. Just find her being happy in the corner. On that note, I appreciate you stopping by the guild hall that is behind us. I think this will be the new theme. I think you're part of the debut set of what I want to do with this. So I appreciate you. Please go check Japanime and her out. The links will be below, and we'll catch you all next time. Bye bye.
Bye bye.